So hello, welcome to the chapter 2 of 3D Maya. So in this video we will discuss about some Maya workspace, interface and different kind of view frames, attribute editor and some setting of grid layout and concept of lighting. So now I am using this project. You can download this project from the description. Now let's talk about some Maya interface. Now as you go up here, the workspace menu, you can see there are bunch of options and presets here. So these presets are used for switching one task to another. So currently I'm using Maya Classic. We can easily switch in any mode of working like modeling, UV editor and so on. And this is modeling expert. This means if you want to reduce the number of panels on scene, so these are presets of interface layout. You can also save your current workspace from here if you want to create your own custom workflow presets, or you can import workspace file which shared by other artists or something you saved before. Now if we want to change the background color, so you can simply press Alt plus B, or if you want to change a custom color, so you have to go to a color setting. So for that, go to the Windows, setting preferences and color settings. Here in the 3D view you can customize your favorite color and then choose background color, and now we have that. Yes, and press Alt plus B again. Yes, this will get back to gray. And over here we have these two tabs, active and inactive. So here active means basically selected. So for example, if I select this object back here and I expand this general tab, here is LED object. So the LED object is green here. Move this slider and change the color. How that LED object is going to be shaded. So the LED object basically means if I select this object and hold the shift key and select this one and then this one, you can see how the other object is still selected in white color, but the LED object is the last object that I have added to my selection because this is bright in color as it is last selected object. So if you want to add more colors to interface elements, then you can change from here. So throughout the course and in this playlist we will focus more on the interface element, and this is just a quick overview. So in Maya Classic workspace we have the outliner right here, which has a list of objects and nodes that are in the scenes. In this shells up here we can choose various tabs, and this is very handy icons just to use to specific menu options. So also we have actual menu options like file, create, modify, display and so on. And there are the view menu here that control how things are displayed in the interface. So we have shading, lighting, show menu and renders, and there are lots of icons here, and you can use them instantly on top here. And over here this right corner, we have the three main panel: channel box, modeling toolkit, and attribute editor. So for the channel box, let's select the group here, and this gives us information of location of this selected group in the scene, its scale value, its rotation value, and many more. So here also have display layer down here. We will talk about this later. So we have a tab here for the modeling toolkit and attribute editor, which has much more detailed transform attributes for any of that selected object in the scene. We also have icons up here, which are another way to switch between these tabs. So it has modeling tool, character panel, attribute editor, and tool setting, and the channel box here. Let's talk about the grid layout, and let me check how to customize the grid setting and grid display option. So again, go to window, setting preferences, and go to setting, and this is what the working unit, this is into in meters. So in grid, each of the square box are represents in meters. So we can display on and off the grid by clicking on this icon here, grid like icon, and also we can go to show menu and untick this grid option. And if I want to know how the grid is displayed, and to go to display menu, then this grid, and we can see the default option is right here. So here you can see each of these quadrant are 12 by 12 in meters. So if I set this to 4 and hit apply, then each quadrant is 4 by 4 unit now. And we can set the grid lines, and we can set the grid lines for every unit of 1, and then apply. Now we also have a subdivision right here. So if I set subdivision to 0, then as we know, the each of one of these square is in 1 meter. So it reset subdivision from 0 to 1. And there is a great tool for measuring items in Maya scene. So go into a create menu, measure tool, and a distance tool, then click on scene, then once again, and it will set up two locator here. So now here we know the grid has 1 by 1 in meter, but it is very difficult to tell which subdivision are here. So to solve this confusion, we differentiate them with a different color. So if I change the subdivision line color, make it like a dark color, and hit apply, now we can see the subdivision grid are in dark purple. Now set main axis color to something bright, and the grid line set this to bright yellow. So now you can differentiate between grid axis now you can differentiate between grid axis and subdivision line very easily. So this is very helpful. So just down here we have a display option for axis, grid line, and subdivision line. So you can easily turn these on and off. You also turn on the grid number. Currently they are hidden by default, so I turn this on to along edge, and hit apply. Now you can see here on the edge of this grid we have a numbers. So this is also very useful for keeping track between positive and negative side of grid. So if I switch to side view, hold spacebar, left mouse button, click, and drag to right view. So you can see the same grid options is applied to all the views. Okay now. Then I'm going to reset all the setting because I like that default interface. So hit apply. But here you can see it is not changed. The color of grid, so let me make something different. The grid color to a dark green, and a grid line to gray, and something subdivision line to dark gray, and hit apply. So now this is good and clear. Yeah. Now if you have trouble in remembering where to find my specific menu option, so go to the help menu and choose find menu. So let I find grid and hit enter. So this shows us the various way to grid setting here, and Maya has many more helping option in help menu. Now let's talk about some head up display. So what is head up display? Now here if you turn on and off the display of list of animation details, include playback, speed, current character, or IK blend, and all these information are displayed here, bottom right corner of panel. So you can see here, which you can activate in the display menu. So open up display and over here head up display. So these are the options that activate right now, so you can turn on and off as per your requirement. Now another display option that I like to have is poly count. Make it on, and here I can say exactly how many vertices, edge and faces on the scene. Now this column shows the count of whole vertices, and this column shows the count of selected object. Now you can change your selection option to select vertices, face and edge. Just hold right mouse button and move to selection vertex, and I drag the selection over these vertices. So now you can see this column right here shows what selected in selected object. Understand? So now you can check out some of the other option here, head up display, and what you want to activate. So if you activate any one of these option, just click on and it will display on your panel. Now we will discuss about shading and lighting option in Maya. So for this I'm using this project that you can download from description. So now first I want to talk about render setting. So go to the render menu, and now we have viewport 2.0 and R node rendering. In viewport 2.0 you can see I have generally high quality real-time shading of object in scene. We have also R node, and it is starting rendering images right here in viewport. If you can see, I can still interact with this real-time render, and if you want to stop this, press this pause button and it will switch back to the viewport 2.0, and again press play button, it start rendering again. So there are various options to control render setting. So we will get into this in more details, but for now just get used to all these options. So let's talk about some lighting options. The lighting in this particular scene provided by this sky dome lights, which is kind of plain white light. So go back to the viewport 2.0. Let's get into shading option. So there are several ways to change the shading option. So while you're working you can use hotkeys, that is for example, press 4 key for wireframe view, press 5 key for shaded view, press 6 key for texture view, press 7 key for view with lighting. So here it is. um, these are the all shortcuts key. So I press 5 to switch back to my shaded view. So if we go up here in shaded menu, we have same more options. So you can switch to smooth shade selected items. It will convert the selected items into smooth. And you can also switch to bounding box. This bounding box is very useful if you are working in a very heavy scene like city or environment, something like that. And with the help of this bounding box, you can easily differentiate between the objects and their shape. And up here, a small icon which allows us a switch between shading view. So you can see all the objects now have a great material on them. Now there is another option in wireframe view, or click on this icon or press Alt 5. This is a hotkey to toggle between wireframe and shaded frame. Now we have other options like X-ray, which makes the object transparent. So click on X-ray and then press Alt 5, and you can see without wireframe shaded. We also have a X-ray joint, and it is used when you have a joint in scene, which are used in a character rigging exercise. Uh, Here is an option called X-ray active components. So let's see what this does. Let's turn off X-ray, and I'm going to right click and choose vertex and drag the selection to some vertices. Here you can see vertices of this side of door is selected, and other side also, but other side of vertices is not visible. So go to the shading and turn on X-ray active component. So now you can see these components to selected vertices in X-ray mode also. So this is very helpful when you get into modeling in Maya. And there is option called back face culling. So by turn this on, the ground here is single side of polygon, and as I move down, you can see how ground is disappears. Now turn off back face culling. Ground is visible from both sides now. Another option of shading is here it is, hardware fog. Now you get a depth fog view, and I can adjust these options box of hardware fog. I can change start and end point, or change the color of the look like underwater, like blue. And also we can change alpha and other options. So turn this off again, and if I go to render and take a look at options of viewport 2.0, we also see this hardware fog options right here also. Now moving on, let's set back to use default material and turn on screen space ambient. Now you can see if I select the ground here, and as I move close to each other, there is a little bit of shading near the interface point of objects. So there is another stuff like motion blur and anti-aliasing settings. Then turn on multi-sampling. I use this option of high quality multi-sampling when I want to take a high quality screenshot and give to my client or any art director. This will render best HD quality images of your artwork. So this make things nice. So for now, turn this off, multi-sampling anti-aliasing. Now let's talk about lighting in viewport, and press 7. So you can see the lighting created by Skydome light. So if I select this light and press Ctrl H to hide, then everything goes black here. So let's create a light. I'm going into this tab here in the rendering tab, and I click this spotlight icon and create a spotlight. Press W to activate move tool, and press E to activate rotate tool. And as I rotate around, you can see the spotlight, and press R for scale, and I scale this up here. So you can see now we have spotlight scene, and press Alt B to change the background color to black. So select a spotlight, and I go to the channel box and change the intensity value to 5. Now you can see we have much brighter light. Now we can also change other setting like cone angle to something 60 degree. So here one more trick I want to tell you about the change the value of channel box. Like just select the cone angle and press the middle mouse button and drag it. So you can see how the cone angle is changing and interact with different values. Yeah, here it is. So in lighting panel here has an option, and I set an option to use default lighting. Then it is using default lighting and execute the lighting setup in scene. So if I set to use all light, then every light in the scene will be used. So these are the basic options which we can use in our lighting scene. So I'm going to create a second spotlight, and here press W to move, and R for scale, and E for rotate, and now move up here again, and select this first spotlight and change its intensity in the channel box. Press the middle mouse button and drag, and do same with this cone angle. Now also go to light panel and turn on shadow. So now you can see here shadow in scene. But as you can see here, our car's window is casting shadow. So what we can do is just select the window and go to the attribute editor. So make sure I am in the tab called S shape, and go down here to render stat. Now turn off the cast shadow. So now that glass object is not longer will cast the shadow, and do the same with other glass of car. Go to the attribute editor and select this S shape tab and turn off cast shadow here. Now light can pass through the window easily, as you can see. Now one more option in lighting panel is two-sided lighting. So if this on, then both side of surface gonna be bright and shaded color, as you can see. So this is very helpful in modeling, because with the help of this you can identify which is front and which is back of any plane. So thank you so much. We will continue with our new concept and tricks in Maya. Make sure you have subscribed this playlist, and okay then, have a nice day. See you in next video. Bye bye.